For years, we've heard stories about animals that supposedly went extinct, wiped off the planet, never to return. But what if they didn't? What if deep in the jungle or far beneath the ocean something survived? Today, we're looking at 6 extinct animals that might still be alive, and some of them were never meant to be found. The Thylacine, also called the Tasmanian Tiger, was officially declared extinct in 1936. It was a strange-looking animal, kind of like a dog, but with stripes on its back and a stiff tail that made it stand out. People say it mostly came out at night and was pretty shy. Back when Europeans settled Tasmania, they brought sheep and other farm animals with them. The Thylacine was blamed for attacking those sheep, so farmers started hunting it a lot. On top of that, diseases and loss of natural homes made it even harder for the Thylacine to survive. Eventually, the last known one died in a zoo, and everyone thought that was the end. But here's where the story gets interesting. Sightings of the Thylacine didn't just stop after that. Over the years, many people have claimed they've seen an animal that exactly matches the Thylacine's description. Farmers have said they spotted it near their land. Hikers reported seeing something strange in the forests. And some videos have even surfaced, showing a creature with stripes running through. Many experts say these sightings are probably mistakes. Maybe people saw wild dogs or other animals and got confused. But Tasmania is full of dense forests and remote places where it's easy for animals to stay hidden. So some believe there might still be a small group of Thylacines living quietly, avoiding us. What makes it even more fascinating is that some scientists are trying to bring the Thylacine back to life using DNA technology. But maybe they don't need to. Maybe this mysterious animal is still out there, surviving against all odds. If the Thylacine really is still alive, it's done an amazing job of staying hidden. Now, if a land animal like the Thylacine could avoid us for decades, imagine what could be lurking in the darkest parts of the ocean, where no one's looking, and something massive might still be swimming. The ocean is massive, deep, dark, and mostly unexplored. And that's exactly why some people believe the Megalodon, the largest shark to ever live, might not be as extinct as we think. Megalodon was a true sea monster. It looked kind of like a great white shark, but way, way bigger. Some scientists say it could grow over 60 feet long. That's longer than a school bus, with teeth the size of your hand. It ruled the oceans millions of years ago, eating whales like they were snacks. But according to what we've been taught, it went extinct about 3.6 million years ago. Still, strange things keep popping up. Fishermen have reported massive shadows passing beneath their boats. Divers claim they've seen huge bite marks on whales that don't match any known shark. And sometimes, sonar picks up something huge moving way below the surface, then disappearing without a trace. Now, scientists argue that something this big couldn't stay hidden. They say there's not enough food in the deep ocean, and we would have found bones or proof by now. But the thing is, we've only explored less than 10% of the ocean so far. There are entire underwater zones we haven't even seen yet, and new species are being discovered all the time. Back in the 1800s, sailors told stories of sea monsters and giant creatures ripping ships apart. At the time, people thought they were crazy. But years later, we found out things like giant squids were real. So, maybe some of those old stories weren't made up after all. And while we're talking about giants from the past, the next one isn't swimming, it's buried, but some people believe it's waking up. When most people think of the Ice Age, they picture the Woolly Mammoth, giant shaggy beasts with huge curved tusks, stomping through frozen lands. They were like the elephants we know today, but built for the cold, with thick fur and a massive frame. Officially, they went extinct around 10,000 years ago, but not everyone's convinced they're completely gone, and here's why. Some of the last known mammoths lived on a remote island off the coast of Siberia, called Wrangel Island, because it was so cut off from the rest of the world. Mammoths there survived for thousands of years longer than the others, way past the time we thought they had disappeared. That alone proves they were better at surviving than we gave them credit for. But then it gets weirder. In the snowy forests of Siberia, there have been stories from local hunters and villagers who swear they've seen something big and hairy moving in the distance. Some describe it as an elephant, but not quite, shorter, furrier, and unlike anything they'd seen before. There are even old Soviet-era reports from scientists who claim to spot large, unknown animals leaving huge tracks in the snow, only to vanish without a trace. And then there's the shocking part, the bodies. In the past few decades, scientists have dug up frozen mammoth remains with skin, hair, and even blood still preserved. Some were so well kept that they still smelled. That's led to some crazy Joe Rogan-level theories. If the DNA is that fresh, could some of them still be alive? Or maybe even frozen underground in a state of hibernation, waiting? Sure, science is working on bringing them back in labs, but some believe they never really left. Because in the coldest, most untouched parts of the planet, who knows what's still breathing beneath the ice? If a mammoth can survive the ice, Maybe another giant learned to survive in the shadows, not in frozen tundras, but deep in the forest. In the forests of New Zealand, there once lived a bird so big it could face a human straight in the eye. The moa stood up to 10 feet tall and weighed over 500 pounds. It couldn't fly, but it didn't need to. It ruled the land with its massive size and strong legs. Maori hunters first encountered it centuries ago. For a while, they lived off its meat and used its bones for tools. But by the late 1400s, the moa was declared extinct. Overhunting and habitat loss wiped them out. Or so we thought. In the years since, stories have popped up from deep within New Zealand's untouched forests. People say they've seen huge birds, way too big to be anything local. In the 1800s, early European settlers described tall, fast-moving creatures slipping through the trees. In more recent times, hikers and farmers have come forward with claims of spotting large footprints or hearing heavy footsteps in the bush, like something massive just walked past. Even scientists have said it's not impossible. New Zealand has thick, isolated forests where few people ever go. If any place could hide a giant bird for centuries, it's there. And what makes it even more believable is that the moa wasn't some ancient dinosaur. It lived recently, just a few hundred years ago. That's nothing in nature's timeline. However, if a giant 12-foot bird can vanish like a ghost in the trees, just imagine what's still hiding beneath the ice. Something fierce, furry, and far from forgotten. From deep under layers of ice and dirt comes a creature that's as famous as it is fierce, the Sabertooth Tiger. With teeth longer than a human hand and a roar that could shake the ground, this predator ruled the ancient world thousands of years ago. People often picture it as a giant cat, but it wasn't exactly like the lions or tigers we see today. Its body was stocky and strong, built to chase and take down huge animals like mammoths and giant sloths. But then, around 10,000 years ago, it disappeared. Most believe it died out because the climate changed and its favorite animals vanished. Yet over the years, there have been strange reports from places where the ice still covers the ground for most of the year. Some hunters and explorers in remote regions have shared stories, or a large striped cat with massive teeth. A cat that moves fast and stays hidden in the shadows. What makes this even more interesting is how many of these reports come from areas where saber-toothed tigers lived long ago. It's almost like some of them survived, avoiding humans and cameras alike. Scientists have found frozen specimens of these cats preserved in ice, with fur and flesh still intact. That means the saber-toothed tiger isn't just some ancient fossil. Parts of it are still fresh enough to study today. So if there are places where the ice holds these creatures in time, maybe there's also a chance some still roam. Plus, animals like the snow leopard or the Siberian tiger live in harsh, icy lands today, staying mostly hidden. So a saber-toothed tiger surviving in secret isn't totally impossible. However, after all the frozen forests and ancient teeth, it's easy to forget just how much of our planet is water, and how much of it we've never really seen. For the longest time, people thought the Coelacanth was long gone. Scientists said it disappeared 66 million years ago, around the same time as the dinosaurs. It was one of those old sea creatures you'd see in books or behind glass at a museum. Strange looking, with rough skin and a shape that didn't look like anything alive today. But that all changed in 1938, when a fisherman in South Africa caught one by accident, and it was still breathing. It shocked everyone. It was like pulling a ghost out of the water. This fish wasn't extinct at all. It had just been hiding deep down in the ocean, way below where most people ever look. And once that first one was found, more started showing up. Not just in one place, but in other parts of the ocean too, mostly near underwater cliffs and caves where sunlight barely reaches. But here's the crazy part. This fish looks almost exactly the same as it did millions of years ago. It barely changed. It's like time just skipped right past it. Even now, we still don't know much about it. Its side fins move in a weird, slow way, kind of like arms. And instead of laying eggs, it gives birth to live baby fish, which is pretty rare. Some of them can live to be 100 years old. People once said it was impossible, but the Coelacanth proved we don't know nearly as much about the ocean as we think. If something this old can stay hidden for that long, maybe it's not alone. So next time someone says an animal is gone forever, just remember this fish. Quiet, deep, still here. If you've made it this far, you clearly believe there's more out there than we're told. So hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started uncovering the world's strangest secrets. And who knows, the next video might reveal what's hiding right behind you.